Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone in Art and Answers is having a good day today. I'm having a good day. And I'm so excited today that we're going to be putting together our collages. 1, 2, which is your second choice of configurations, and 3. So it doesn't matter which one you choose, and it doesn't matter if you use a color background. What we're going to be doing today is just getting it on the board, getting it on the substrate. So I'm going to be doing this one today because I felt like it was going to be large enough and big enough for you to be able to see what was going on. So, good morning. Tell me who you are. So, I went ahead and cut my pieces, my background pieces, and I'm thinking that I did not put those measurements in anywhere, really anywhere, because that's not something I ordinarily do. So I will make sure that I go back in there and supply those. But this particular one is 3 inches by about 7.5. And I will tell you that I tend to make these a little bit larger, because then you can, when you start your collage, you can not worry about the edges and just glue them down and then trim them off and make it tidy. So, all right. So I hope everybody's having a good day. I'm going to turn you down onto my table so that I can show you how to sort, how to figure out what you've got going on. So that you can pull all this together, because it's a lot of elements and there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, honestly, the possibilities are endless with the colors and the shapes and the textures and all the different methods you can use. So, all right, I'm going to turn you down here. And I know what I did with this one was I really liked the colors, the configurations, and so I saved them. I saved this combination and I put it in an envelope, and we could, if I wanted to do another series or another whatever, then I would have these all together. So that's one way that I do some housekeeping and keep things all in order, so I know what I'm doing or whatever. And then this one as well. I kept all this, even the brown paper bag, just whatever. So I hope that you got all your collage papers done, or you're actually working on them. This was one, if you didn't see it before, that was very interesting. Bunch of stuff that from the fall that I just put on my copy machine. And the way that I manage all this is when I paint, I'll have another piece of paper off to the side so I can offload any extra paint or any ideas that I have or whatever. And so I tend to keep them in 4 different categories, and I just have them in, a little tray like this. So obviously I am a cool, warm, a cool blue tropical color kind of person. So I have many more of these, and I think that we are going to use some blues today, maybe some golds. So I have the warm. I have the cool. This one is the warm with all the reds and oranges, and then I have, in fact, I'm gonna put this right in there. I have the neutrals, which I do put some of the metallics and things like that in, and basically black and white. And I do have some foil, and I keep it in there usually. So we're going to be using these blues, this turquoise, and kind of go through and pick out some things that you like. This is a tea bag that I stained literally with acrylic paint. And I've gone through and picked some already, but some of these are kind of interesting that are grabbing my eye. And that's the thing, things will change. You will see something and think, ooh, got to have that. You know, I have to use that. That's kind of pretty with that. So we're just gonna see. And what I love about collage, at least for me anyway, is I never know exactly how it's gonna turn out. That's a gift bag that I brought home from Anna Maria Island. So I'm gonna put that over to the side. So you just start going through and getting at what really strikes you, what really seems to be interesting. And I love, this is just a wrinkled up piece of junk mail that has words on it. And I crinkle it up and then I put gold on it. So it hit some of the high spots and left the words showing through on the low spots. So we've got some of that. I think perhaps some of the somatic writing that I did in gold. I also have some in black. Some of this tissue paper seems to find its way into everything that I do. This is one. And this one with the words on it is another one. Although I did make some, it's somatic writing, but not so fancy as this one. And I will caution you, if you can see it, well, you can't see over there, but it will, if you write it on tissue paper, it will go through the tissue paper. So, and I know I mentioned the other day, if you're going to choose to use an icon like this, make sure it's from a royalty-free site or get permission from the artist. This is someone's art. And if it's in a royalty-free place, then they have sold it and they have been compensated for their hard work. So just be careful about that. If, you know, if the roles were reversed and you saw your artwork in someone else's artwork, you might not be so happy about it. I think I'm going to just grab piece of that. Here's a bag that I got some food in or something. I don't know. That's kind of cool. May end up using that. This is also a piece of paper that I soaked in coffee. So it's got a really interesting color and interesting feel. Coffee filters are wonderful. And otherwise, I think we probably have more than we can manage now. Okay, so I'm going to put, the reason for putting them in the trays is so that we can keep them organized, keep them managed, and then you can pick them up and move them out of the way. So now comes the fun part. And if you're not careful, it can really get you overwhelmed. So try to make sure you guys can see. So I think I'm going to go through here and just kind of decide what we're going to use, what we're not going to use. I really like this. I'm thinking I might like this. This is a page that I just did a scrape, and then I used my white Signo pen, and I made these little circle things, little spiral things. I really love those. So we'll probably use that. I'm thinking these two. This is something I tried, which is a scrape, but then I took my gold pen and it almost looks like coral or something. But I'm not 100% in love with that, so we're going to just maybe put it over here in a maybe pile. These are tea bags, and this is just a regular tea bag that's been stained with regular tea. This one, I put glue over top because there's actually tea stuck to it still, and I didn't want that to dry up and go away. So that just gives it some texture and an idea. You know, just a little different component. May or may not use that. I'm not really married to that today. Here's another one that I stained. I don't know. I think that's gonna go in the maybe pile. This one with the marbles, you guys tell me in the comments what techniques you used. And this one is so fun, right? I'm not seeing any comments. Let me swipe it and see. Anyway, so tell me what all you did. Tell me how you liked it. What was your favorite one? You know, whatever. But this one was the marbles. And I also just kind of put a splash of little, you know, metallic color there. And I'm really kind of liking this combination. I think I'm going to raise you up because I feel like you're not getting a big enough view of what I'm doing here. Is that better? Oh, I do see some comments. Good morning, Tony. Hello, Donna, Loretta, Debbie. Oh, the whole gang is here. Fabulous. All right. So I'm kind of liking this. I'm going to put this over here. And you can already see what's happening. A theme is developing. Already there's a blue and gold kind of theme. And I was, you know, originally going to do something with this green, but I'm not liking that at all now. This is a book page that I actually dropped alcohol on and made those interesting marks. But you know what? That green kind of works. So that's a maybe. This was a piece of newspaper that I stenciled on. I'm not liking that one. I think we're gonna have enough dots going on, but you never know. Put that there. I thought that maybe the turquoise was gonna be something, but not with that. So I'm thinking that's a no. This is beautiful. That's a maybe. Kind of like the blue in that butterfly. These are all blues, so I'm going to put that in the blue pile. And see, you start to eliminate things, and it starts to like become easier. I also was thinking about doing a purple, because I have this beautiful purple that I can use as a background, but sometimes it's not in the stars. I don't know. I'm not feeling purple today. That's what I was feeling last night, but it doesn't seem to be. This was that, I'm calling it a placemat. It really could have been a drying mat or something, but someone discarded it and it was in the wrong section of the store, and I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna get that. So that's not really going. This was, you know, part of this. I thought, oh, these things are gonna look really pretty together, which they would. And I think I'm gonna put that over here with this purple paper because eventually I'll do that. You want to try to make sure that you have a very dark value, a medium value, and a light value. So we've kind of already got that. And you don't really want to have too many things going on at once, but you never know. You can always add a little extra. This one was super fun. This is a, since I don't have a laser printer, I just have an inkjet printer. I can't use this on a jelly plate as like you put it on the thing. on the jelly plate and pull this image off. So I just made a regular black and white photocopy. You want to there with excess paint. So, but that one's not going to be it. This one kind of goes with this. I doubt that will make it, but it might. You never know. I think that's too much. This one was fun. This one was with a brayer. And when you roll it off, the excess paint is on this square, and then the major of it, and then it just sort of bleeds off. So you can use it to your advantage. You can do it this way, you can do it this way, and then you end up with this little like plaid look. And it all has the gold shimmery colors in there. This is similar. This is just more doodles that I did on this dark. I don't think so. This is the saran wrap. That turned out really interesting. And I don't know, that might just be a little pop of color. I think this one's too similar to everything else. So we'll put these back in the blue. We will probably use some stamps, some somatic writing. I just kind of put some quick writing on there. Doesn't make any sense at all. I was talking about she was so loved that she became the honorary emperor. You just kind of spit words out, you know, sometimes. And see, if I was going to use spots, I think I would rather use the metallic spots. But I'll still put it over here to the side just in case. And perhaps a neutral. So I'm just going to leave these over to the side. And obviously, if I use this, it'll be just an accent thing. So we're going to start, I'm going to start tearing and playing. And I just like to begin. I see that I need to move this up here better. All right. I'm looking to see. Okay. So, and it doesn't really matter, like I said, if you put it on the edge, because we're gonna trim this off afterwards. That's just the way I do it. I mean, sometimes people, you know, do other things. So you want an element of each of the papers that you chose on all three of your pieces, because it gives it a unity. It makes it look like a series. So we're gonna start there, and I do like kind of the stripes, so I'm gonna do something like this. And I try to do it like at a different orientation around the piece. And you know, you save all those extra little pieces because you can use it for everything. I kind of like this dark edge here, so I'm going to see about keeping that. Maybe. Seems like an awfully big piece. Okay. So you have one of the same on all of them, all in different orientations. And this will probably get moved 10 times before we actually glue it down. I really like this circular thing, but I think I'm going to do some bigger. I really like how this came out right here. There's something very therapeutic about just tearing paper. It really feels good. I like the way it sounds. And you notice if you, depending on which way you tear the paper, you can get like a little white edge or not. And start here. This is an exercise that, to me, you can put on music. How many people create with music? I mean, I tend to create in silence, but that's just me. Who likes to have music on, or a podcast on, or what do you listen to? Some of my friends know that I like to I like to put nature sounds on. If it's not a pretty day and I don't have the window open, my friends will say, "Hey, does anybody hear birds?" And that's because I have them being piped in. So I really like that area right there. So we're gonna do that. Alright. And once I sort of get the pieces that I like the most, I just gather all this up and put it to the side, and it'll end up back in the tray, I think. Okay. So with that. This is all about just playing and seeing what works. Some's on top, some are on the bottom. The tissue paper, of course, when you glue it down with the matte medium, it will just disappear, and whatever's on the tissue paper will show up. So I think you can tear this, and then I recently found out you can use a paintbrush, wet the edges, and cut it that way. I'm really liking this, but it's not working for me. I think I'm just going to take it off like this. How about that? Okay. Now, this gold can balance out the spots on the tissue, and I'm thinking perhaps use it as a little bit of a background. Have to have that dark area. This is where we definitely need some contrast. Oh, now we're talking. All right, so I'm gonna make sure that I get some on all of it. Maybe do like that. And do you notice what's going on right here? Can you see those holes? I took a paper punch and I made some dark blue dots. So that's why that's on there, and we may end up using that. See how that's an extra nice little dark dot? I like using that like that because I can see the lines of the scrape going this way, and I can see them going this way on this one. All right, and two stripes together right here. How about that? Looks like a jumbled up mess, doesn't it? I promise you it's going to be pretty when we get done. I think I'm going to use some of this as a neutral behind some of these. All right. That might actually go on top. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's probably enough, although I do still have some of this, so I may use it or I may take something else off. Let's see what it looks like under here. Because you don't want to get it too busy. I mean, it is interesting, but you can actually get it too busy. Anybody have any suggestions? Something that you're seeing that I'm not seeing? Trying to make this into a skinnier stripe without losing some of the marble. But I don't particularly want this stripe here because of these two stripes. So, you know, you can just switch it. When have you ever known me to be quiet? You can tell that's when I'm really concentrating. Okay, so put that neutral over there. I'm gonna put this neutral on this side. There we go. And one more for this one. Okay, I think that's we kind of got it. So you see how long, sometimes this is the longest part of the process, really. And I forgot to get that medium out. And with that medium, I have a dedicated bunch of stuff. I have a bowl that I put it in and I just let it dry. I have a dedicated brush because it does tend to make it hard, and until it gets damp with the glue, then it's pretty hard. But, so I'm just gonna put that over there, put some water in here. You guys excited for next month? Next month is self-discovery and true identity. So we're going to be figuring out what our actual core values are. Everyone talks about that. We don't actually know what that means. But after next month, you're going to know what that means. And part of being able to self-soothe and keep yourself happy is you have to know yourself. Sometimes we know our spouses more than we know ourselves. So, all right. So I take the glue stick and just kind of tack this stuff down. And then we're going to go back with the substrate. It doesn't have to be perfect, just get it down because it will work. It will be just fine. When we put it down with the medium. All right. I was thinking I might change that, but I don't know. I kind of like it that way. Okay. Can't hardly pick up that little dot. You ever break one fingernail and it seems to just, it throws everything off? Go right on this edge. I've got two pieces there, which is fine. There we go. Now, if that doesn't look like a hot mess, but you see, we're going to trim all this off and make it nice and tidy. What color background do you see this on? You know, they can be individually framed, or you can do it like I did with this one and put it, not only did I put it on a colored background, but I put a colored mat behind it as well. So let me put this there, just for a background for those two little stripes. Look at that with those letters. just leave that like that. And I need to make sure that I know where the edge is so that we can get these stripes in the right place. There we go. Okay, again, just kind of messy. And what colors did you find out that you really gravitated to? And tell me, I always seem to have a more medium tone papers. Tell me, did you have more medium, light, or very dark papers? I think I'm gonna have to put this up just a little bit. There we go. One thing that I neglected to tell you, so I was concentrating, is once you kind of get your stuff where you like it, your pieces where you like it, it's really a good idea to take a picture of it. I'm talking to you on my phone, so I couldn't exactly do that, but take a picture of it so that you can get it back on there in the right place. Because I noticed I didn't have this here. I moved it, but I kind of like it better there anyway. I'll do it like this. And I want to make sure that I've got it straight on here. In fact, I'm going to wait to put that on after I cut it. So now that this has had a chance to dry a little bit, I'm just going to trim it. Now we're going to, after we get the matte medium on and let it completely dry, then you're going to put it in a trimmer of some sort. You can use scissors if you want, but and that will give it a nice perfect edge. But right now, we're just doing this so that we can get the last little bits of embellishment in there and in the right orientation, because I don't want to put that stripe on there and then have it crooked on the substrate. That would be terrible. So see, looks better already. The messy middle is a scary position to be in, but with experience, then you know that there's something good coming out at the end. And you know what? Even if it doesn't, that's what this month's theme is creativity and exploration. And that's the whole point. It may not turn out great, but so what? Didn't you have fun creating the papers and thinking about it and planning it and working on it? And you took a chance, and you are so much further ahead than people who are not willing to take a chance. It bleeds over into the rest of your life when you're willing to be a little more brave and a little more curious. So there we go. Looking good, looking good. Because when you do these exercises like this, it ends up giving you confidence. And you can't just have confidence in only one place in your life. When you start having confidence it bleeds over into everything, everywhere in your life. Cut that a little tight, so you may not be really proficient in something. You may hesitate, but you know, to do things that you're less experienced, but that doesn't mean that you just won't try it, because I believe people do. There we go. Now, look at the orientation, make sure that things are, I'm thinking this was the way it was, and this was going to go here. I like it just like that, right off the edge of the page. I'm sorry I'm not seeing who's here and who's making comments because you're upside down. All right. So I'm going to close up my glue stick. I'm not going to keep these little scraps. Sometimes I do. But those were getting a little small. Okay. Now, I've just about gotten to the end of this table coverings lifespan, so I'm going to go ahead and glue straight down, you know, onto this, but you might want to, actually I'm not, just told you a fib. I am going to go ahead and put it on top of here, and the reason why is because not only to protect the table, but then I can pick it up and just move it and let it dry, you know, overnight or something. So I'm going to cut this out. I'm kind of feeling like maybe it's not going to make it, but we're visual people. We want to see what it looks like, right? And I'm just kind of doing it a little bit rough. I've got a busy afternoon. Two of my friends that have memberships have events today. Cheryl Collins has Becoming, which is about renewing your mind and getting your spirituality in check. And my friend Debbie does hat burning, but honestly, she's venturing out. She's starting to do all kinds of things. So if you guys are interested in finding out about either one of those things, I'd be happy to let you know. And you know how I feel about antennae. I love to say antennae. But I'm going to cut these ones off because they're just too tiny and too fine. If I want some antenna, I'm just going to draw them on there myself. But I'm going to keep his little eyes, though. Okay, you've been looking at this. I've been looking at the butterfly. But you've been looking at the whole thing. Tell me, is it going to go somewhere? Move you over. I feel like it needs to be in a darker spot. Kind of like it right there. Yeah. And I can actually bring some some darker paint around it so it'll pop off. So I'm gonna put the matte medium on here. So I have my dedicated brush. It was written on there, but I've worn it off, and I've got my medium in this bowl, and I'm just gonna kind of start getting it up under the edges of everything. And once I've got everything glued down, then I go back and go over the top of the whole thing. And of course it's called matte medium because it's matte. You could use gloss or something else that you might want to use, but this is my my choice. This is what I like to use. And especially with the tissue papers, make sure that you press down. So that it goes through. And becomes one solid piece. Make sure all your edges are glued down. How many of you guys have ever done collage before? Tell me if this is your first time, if you're liking it. I like it. It's not something I do a tremendous amount of, but every time I do it, I think, why don't you do this more often? Because it's so fun. And it's so fun to be able to recycle your papers that you offloaded your paint onto or just were doodling on or whatever. So I really like the brown paper bag in these. It just adds so much to it. And sometimes, see, like the brown paper bag is much heavier, denser paper than the copy paper, and of course the tissue paper, but it has a totally different texture, and it soaks up the matte medium in a different way. All right. What do you think? Is it coming together, you guys? Is there anybody working on theirs while I'm working on mine? Tell me. And I can't wait to see your versions of these. I'm always so excited when I see what you've done. And of course, your style is going to show through, so it's not going to look just like mine. My colors and my style, this gold tissue paper that seems to find its way into everything. So, and I'm not sure what color background it's going to end up on. It may just be white. I don't know. I had one time that I put them on and then I did a pen and ink edge around it, and that was pretty cool too. All right. And so you can see some of these edges are not perfect, but we're going to trim all that off. So there we go. How about that? So you can see, I'm going to turn you back up here a little bit. You can see this whole stuff, it's going to go back into the tray, and we're going to use it another day. So I'm going to turn you back up here. I did some yard work, and my daughter's in a little pink. So I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to, I think, put the butterfly on and put it on the background, and I will post it and show it to you a little bit later. I want to see yours. I'm excited about it. And I hope that you enjoyed your month of creativity and exploration. So I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.